Hey guys, this is Emily from the Hot and Heavy Show. I'm here at King Street Hotel tonight with Blake from Fall from Heaven.
Howdy.
All right, let's get into it. Can you share the story behind the formation of Fall from Heaven? How did you all come together in Newcastle?
Formation was pretty interesting. I think the first time that I kind of connected with the guitarist, Daniel, was I believe it was at a Fit for an Autopsy or a Thy Art gig in back when what was the venue down at Cambridge?
Came.
Yeah, it was at Cambridge. So we met at the Cambridge. We'd been going to uni. I think this was first time I saw him was the end of 2020 or the start of 2021 when we had that like no restriction kind of out of lockdown for the first time. Met, talked a little bit. I played in a few other bands, and then start of 2023, I'm like, fuck it, I want to do a deathcore project. Let's take it back to like old school Suicide Silence, like at 2006,
Yeah.
like fucking heavy as shit, slammy deathcore.
Yeah.
We wanted to do something like that. Me and him got in a room, wrote for about a year. At the end of 2023, we got our first gig. Sorry, no, this is 2022.
Yeah.
2023, we had our first gig, played a couple of shows then. Got our old bassist from one of Daniel's classes in uni, and then our old drummer from our first show.
Yeah.
So it was quite cool. And then they both ended up leaving. Now we run our laptop, which is our bass tracks. So we do need a bass player. If you guys want to play bass for us, hit us up. And our drummer, who we've got from a couple of our friends in Sydney, and he's been playing with us for just over 4 months now, I believe.
Yeah. Cool.
So
yeah. Right.
formation was pretty much uni.
Yeah.
Pretty much what formed us, and Thy Art and Fit for an Autopsy.
Yeah. So you all sort of share the same kind of love for the same style of music.
Yeah, very similar. Me and Daniel, I'm more death metal. He's more a little bit hardcore, so we thought, deathcore, fused the two.
Yeah.
And Kieran came a little bit later, and he enjoys a little bit of everything. Like he's very into quite a wide range of music, which is good. So it kind of keeps us on our toes, adds a little bit different aspects to kind of every genre.
Yeah.
And pick the best parts and then make some heavy shit. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like a really organic way to start a band. I love that. That's heaps cool. All right. The second question I have is, how important is keeping the scene alive in an evolving city like Newcastle?
Oh, it's like if without the scene, we can't play shows. Like, yeah, we can play shows to everybody in the band, and then it's just band practice at that point. Like, especially think all ages shows are super important. Getting the younger generations involved, giving them something that I never had as a kid.
Yeah.
Playing shows and having an environment where it's safe to enjoy heavy music. Super important. Like, again, without the scene, we don't have shows.
Yeah.
Without shows, you don't have bands. Like,
yeah.
Every Parkway Drive, every Polaris started with small shows, and Newcastle's produced some of the best bands around, and they're still producing some of the best bands around.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. As someone that's grown up in Newcastle, and like I went to all ages shows in town here. Shout out to Hombre and Drone. And originally, I think they were called White Records. That was probably the most important part of my teen years, and it's like shaped me into the person I am today. I still love music, and now I get to be doing this with you. So yeah, it's really cool.
Without live music, we don't have anything.
Exactly.
Life becomes very boring and dull.
It does. The name Fall from Heaven evokes powerful imagery. What inspired this name, and how does it reflect your music and message?
So Fall from Heaven is a cheeky homage to my favorite band, Fit for an Autopsy. They have a song called Far From Heaven, and I'm like, well, we could do the Chelsea Grin thing and take Chelsea Smile, turn it into Chelsea Grin. We kind of did the same thing, but the more I kind of reflected on what it is and what it personally means to me, I kind of gave it meaning after the fact.
Yeah.
And it's kind of turned into this thing where when I was growing up, I was very kind of, had a lot of religious people around me, and they were like always kind of talk about religion and how important it is. And then as I grew up, I saw all the holes in it. I started kind of seeing all this like kind of fake screenage of like all this religion, and I kind of just got sick of it. and then it turned me in the opposite way where I absolutely hated religion, and then I've kind of now in between I kind of see people's views on it, and but I'm mostly kind of against most organized religions. But yeah, it's just a way to kind of say like fall from heaven, the devil kind of fell from heaven. It's kind of that death metal approach where it's like spooky, scary, kind of evil shit,
Yeah.
and then giving it a twist with religion. Because a lot of the deathcore that I listened to growing up, like Thy Art's Hate album, is very kind of religious in tonality. So
Yeah.
it kind of takes a little bit of that as well. And there's a lot of things that I've given it meaning to, but the original kind of where it came from was just stealing it from a song and changing a few words.
I love
And it
it.
sounds sick, so I'm like, well, fuck it, that sounds cool.
That's awesome. I love that we got a short answer and a long answer. That's really cool. Your music blends depressive and political themes with hardcore elements. Which artists or experiences have most influenced your sound? Which we kind of already touched on, but if there's anyone else or anything specifically that you've like taken inspiration from for specific songs?
I think
Yeah.
in terms of, because I do all the producing as well, I take a lot from Will Putney. So again, a lot of Fit for an Autopsy, a lot of like Straight from the Path, later Thy Art albums. There's a lot of that element in terms of how we sound, and then kind of the attitude comes from a lot of the punk stuff. And I've only within the kind of last 3 years gotten into hardcore quite heavily. A lot of Newcastle bands have influenced us. I'm wearing a Scorn t-shirt. You've got a lot of people like Scorn, all the SCT guys, pretty much. And then in terms of kind of older school hardcore and kind of like death metal and that kind of stuff has also influenced me. As a kid, I was super into Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel. So bringing that into it, and then like Killswitch Engage was another massive influence. So it's kind of just this mash of everything, and I'm just like, well, what's the heaviest part of everything, and then what kind of makes everything fit together in kind of like a song context. So it's not just breakdown, end of song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like it's tricky to do that in a way that prevails heavy attitude as well. So it's a fun thing, definitely in terms of our sound. It's come from different Autopsy, Thy Art, a lot of the kind of 2010s deathcore era, kind of where it just went under the rug and no one was listening to it.
Yeah.
And then we've also taken a bit of the attitude from like hardcore, old school death metal, and then wanted that kind of screechy, shitty production of 2000s metalcore, deathcore.
Yeah.
So bit of everything.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. So it just sounds like you're just absolutely in love with music.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, what's the heaviest shit that we can make that isn't quite slam?
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, awesome. How do you approach songwriting to balance emotional depth with the aggressive energy characteristic of deathcore?
It's an interesting question. The way we approach it is kind of in a two-part. We write the instrumental, and then I kind of sit on the instrumental for a little bit. As the vocalist, I kind of look back kind of into my past and try and find elements that seem interesting and also can evoke an emotion. Like with most people, I've been through like a lot of different struggles in my life, so I get to pull from those elements and kind of all the sad and like shitty things that might have happened to me. I get to kind of twist that in a way and kind of not necessarily say it outright, but find interesting ways to prevail that in like motifs and kind of all that kind of interesting dark terminology. I think Currents, in terms of lyrical content, does it the best, and I kind of try and take a little bit from that, where it's very kind of emotional and very kind of sad boy music, but like really heavy and screamy. And then I also take a lot of the political stuff. That just a lot of punk bands do. A lot of like old school punk, underground punk these days. Just like a lot of stuff that I see online that I resonate with on a human level. I kind of try and add my own suffering from what I've felt and try and put that into like a political statement, and then kind of boost the energy from there.
Yeah.
And it kind of creates this entire atmosphere of different meanings people can pull from a song that I wouldn't originally kind of attain from it. So they kind of, just give meaning to something and then have someone else pull different meanings from it. Makes it a little bit more interesting. And the way I kind of achieve that is through different elements, pulling from myself, pulling from things that are happening, like recent political events, and then kind of mashing them all up and trying to make something with a little bit more open-endedness.
Yeah.
So it can be interpreted in different ways.
I like that you've touched on both things that interest me a lot there. Is like, first thing, like heavy music comes from punk, and punk started as a political movement, and that is like one of the most interesting topics for me. I love reading about like all of where like punk originated back in London in like the 70s, I think.
About there,
Yeah, 70s, 80s sort of era, and like how far it's grown since then. And like, there are still people that are like, metal's not punk, but like,
Oh, 100% it is.
it's just a tree branch.
Yeah, from like you got thrash metal in the 80s, which was literally just like Misfits and Black Sabbath merged together.
Yeah.
And then you've got, after that, you've got all the Pantera stuff in the 90s, and that's really political. A lot of the old school death metal wasn't necessarily political. And then you got the hardcore scene again in the 90s being this like really political thing. Then you've got early 2000s metalcore, and then early 2000s deathcore, which again pulled a little bit more topically from death metal, but slowly started getting a little bit more political again. And then I think as the climate has come out of kind of a little bit more of a rough patch now, with everything that's going on in the East and kind of America at the moment, you start to see what people didn't think is political now ring a really strong political message.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I 100% agree. Like, metal is political, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, I love that is like, one way to send that message out is through song. Like, not everything has to be, in a suit and have an argument.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. The other thing that I really liked what you said was that everyone takes their own interpretation of songs. And I think that is one of the most beautiful parts about music in general, whether it's metal or pop or, blues. Like, everyone takes meaning from it in a different way. Everyone is going through different experiences and might relate to a single line. And I think that that's an awesome thing to bring up as well.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one thing that I had to learn very quickly was as soon as I release a song, it's not mine anymore. It will never be mine. Like, I can say I worked on it, but once it goes out into the world, everybody forms an opinion on it.
Yeah.
And there's something beautiful with that. Like, art, as soon as the artist is finished with it, is up to the eye of the beholder. Like, it's not this open-ended, it's not this closed, open and shut door. This is the answer. This is the question. This is the answer. It's open-ended. It can mean whatever. Like, songs that bring a happy tone for me, bring a sad tone for some people.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's the beauty of music. It's why I got into it. It's why I really enjoyed it. And now I get to do it, and it's fucking great.
Was that something that came easily to you? Like, once you release a song, you feel like it's not yours anymore, it's for everyone. Was that something that you wanted, or you didn't, or was that something new that came after you've released music?
It was something that I struggled with in kind of uni, when all the lecturers would talk about songs and how you need to shape it to kind of answer these or tick these boxes. And then I kind of started thinking about it, like, oh, my song needs to have all this before it's released. And then when Fall From Heaven released their song, we had it up about a month before it actually came out on CD Baby, and I just kind of sat there and went, well, there's nothing I can do about it now. I can't change anything. I can't go back and reproduce it. Like, it's just gone.
Yeah.
And it was this nice moment of, thank God I don't have to do anything. But at the same time, listening back to it, it's like, oh, I could have changed this, I could have changed that. And then with our second single, it was kind of like, cool, this is it, this is done.
Yeah.
And with our 2-track coming up, I'm kind of being a little bit more careful, getting everything ready to where I'm happy with it sonically, and it kind of gives the message that I'm trying to convey. but not to the point where it's just like it's working on it, overworking on it, and then it's just kind of becoming shit. Like if it sounds good to me, I'll, it sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Your track "Till Death Do Us Part" delves into themes of love and darkness. What was the creative process behind this song?
Originally, like it was something where I'm like, I want to write a song that's very bitter, like bittersweet, like taking jabs at people, like you just lose a partner and you're just kind of like, man, they suck, whatever. And then I'm kind of like, well, everybody does that. That's kind of just like an easy thing. And then I'm like, what if I do kind of like a love song in the note of deathcore, where it's just kind of like, I'll take the words of kind of "till death do us part," something that people say at weddings, and twist it in a way where it's like, okay, if you read it, it's very sweet, but if you listen to it, this guy's screaming over this open-ended chorus that's, I'd imagine someone singing over it, but he's not. And then it's got like a breakdown in between where it's like, what is this weird kind of wrestling with like what the song's trying to be? And I guess it speaks in a way to relationships. Like they're not all clean. They're not all like easy. You're gonna have a few arguments. You're gonna have a few disagreements, and just working through that does make you stronger.
Yeah.
Compared to, if it's all happy-go-lucky and then something goes wrong, if you've never dealt with that before, it can crash and burn pretty quick.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things that I'm like, what if I wrote a love song? And I'm like, well, what if I put a little bit of a twist on it and make it a little bit darker? And then it kind of just started turning into like this. What if I had this? What if I had this? And then what if it, changes this beautiful chorus and then a breakdown?
Yeah.
And it's like it just very interesting, very kind of more of a experimental view on kind of the themes of deathcore and kind of where they go, where it was kind of, like killing and murder and all that kind of shit. And it's like, what if we make something a little bit more beautiful and then kind of put breakdowns in it?
Yeah. That's
Something
absolutely.
a little bit different.
Yeah. I love that because, yeah, metal's not all blood and guts. It can be about beautiful things.
It can. If you've listened to Killswitch, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell us about your EP, Echoes of Suffering? What themes or messages were you aiming to convey?
Echoes was a song that we had a list of like 20 songs that we had done. There were a bunch of demos that we'd done, and we're like, yeah, these all sound great. And then we kind of listened to them all back to back, and only one of them stuck out, and that was Echoes of Suffering. So then we turned it into the song it is. And then when I was going to do the lyrics, I think I ran through the lyrics 8 or 9 different times, just rewriting it, just going, this is not, doesn't work, this doesn't sound right. And then I wanted to add a little bit more of a political message to it. So then From the River to the Sea, always was, always will be. I kind of heard that in the back of my head and went, that's a perfect political message. Like it's the Aboriginal people have been here for so long, it's their land. And then as events have transpired, it's kind of also just shown that it's still a real issue. And then while being political, I also wanted to kind of convey a personal message in terms of just like how I was feeling at the time, very kind of confused, very kind of like just getting into a new relationship, wanting it to work, having so many relationships fail in the past. And then also trying to make that more of a deathcore thing as well, which like so many different elements that I'm just like, how can I weed this together to make it what it was? And then after the kind of the eighth rewrite, I kind of got the basic structure down. I had the intro, I had kind of the chorus, and then went, cool. And then I added a few little personal notes and kind of transformed it into what it is today.
Yeah, cool. Your live shows are known for their insane energy. How do you prepare to deliver such intense performances?
I know personally, I get so anxious that I feel like I'm going to throw up. And then as soon as I get on stage, it's like this giant adrenaline dump.
Yeah.
And then it's just straight to my head. And I'm just like, cool, what's something stupid that I can do, whether it's standing on the barricade or after we finish like in Echoes of Suffering, we have a breakdown at the end where I don't sing. So I throw the mic on the ground and jump in the pit and start swinging and crowd killing and shit because it's hardcore. I got to fucking do something cool. So it's a mix of like I see so many of these guys on stage where they're like doing these crazy stuff. I'm like, cool, I want to do that. And then I also see these guys that just don't have any energy on stage, and I'm just like, fuck, I can't stand still. Like it's one of those things. Like I get on stage, I have so much adrenaline running through me that I'm like, I need to move. So it's like one of those things where I feel most comfortable in discomfort. So I get myself really worked up, really anxious. I'm fucking terrible to talk to kind of beforehand. And my partner can attest to this. She's always like, yeah, you change. And I'm like, yeah, because as soon as I get on stage, it's like I'm hit with all this adrenaline. I just go nuts. And it's always so much fun getting off stage. And I'm just like, man, felt like a good workout. And our set's like not that long. It's 20 minutes, but that 20 minutes I go as hard as I possibly can, and then I'm good.
Well, that's where you get your energy then, and
Yeah.
that's what makes Fall from Heaven you.
Yeah.
So keep it up. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the plan. Keep making myself real anxious and then getting on stage and screaming over breakdowns, big squeals and all.
You recently headlined for the first time. How did it feel to close the show, and what was the audience's reaction?
That was crazy. That was such a last minute thing that I honestly thought no one would turn up. And then we had this fucking giant turnout. For us at least. Like we're used to seeing like a couple of people walk in, being the opener half the time. And we were just kind of like, cool, like a few people will come, a couple of friends bands, and I just wanted to play with them. Just wanted to kind of show them a show, give them a headliner that'd be pretty fun. They didn't have one already, so you know, did that, and then yeah, we played with Model Audio, who started it out. He was great, and then we went into Sink Pisses again. Those guys, brilliant. They pretty much put us on that show. I asked if I could be on it, and they're like, "Yeah, sure. You want a headline?" And kind of shocked. I went, "Fuck, okay, rightio. We'll pull up. We'll see what we can do." Then we had Dist. Those guys, incredible. All under 18 and just blowing it out of the water. And then Crora, those guys, my friend's band, killed it first show of the night, first show. And then yeah, we headlined and the crowd just moshing all throughout the entire thing. It was like lots of side to side, lots of fucking spin kicks, all that shit, and it was as good as I could imagine it, if not so much better, because there was so many more people. Like even if I've got one or two people spin kicking, that would have been like that's what I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't. It was like 8 or 9 people.
That's awesome.
And it was such a small room too. I'm like, there's no way people are going to pit. And they did. It was pretty sick. There's some good photos out there too.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how did you guys feel afterwards? Were you guys over the moon?
It was. We didn't believe like how many people were there and how many people came, and then the door guy told us, and we're like, yeah, fuck off. No, like give us a real number, and he's like, no, yeah, like 80 or so people turned up. I'm like, fuck, okay. So it was like a lot of people for someone that's just first time headlining. Didn't realize that it'd be that big, and yeah, it was definitely a group effort. Like everybody brought their friends, everybody kind of came in as a community. So yeah, it was definitely a community event, which can't thank the community enough for it.
That's awesome. That was in Newcastle?
That was in Newcastle. Yeah, it was at the Croatian sports club down the road, actually.
Yeah. What can fans look forward to in terms of upcoming releases or tours? Are there any new directions you're exploring?
I think the next thing is going to be a 2-track that we're working on. It's pretty much finished. I'm just kind of in the last leg of finishing the production on it, and then I'll send it off to our producer to master it, and then he'll master it, and we'll get it out there. So I'm not going to put a date on it because I don't really know when it's going to be released. I want to say in the next month or two, but I also don't know. After that, in terms of shows, we're always playing shows. We've got a free one next weekend at the Crowbar in Sydney. Massive festival, Golger hosting it, which is going to be very interesting. And then we've got another festival at the Factory Theatre in July, on the 5th of July. And then I think we've got another show booked a little bit later in the year. And then other than that, that's kind of it. We do have an EP coming in the writing stages at the moment. We've got a couple of demos, and that's going to be a little bit more slammy, a little bit kind of heavier. Again, just really trying to get that old school deathcore sound that we're looking for. A little bit more of the Tactosa route. A little bit more energy, a little bit more breakdowns, a little bit more pig squeals, a little bit just fitting as much as we can into a small box and seeing if it won't explode. And if it doesn't, then we haven't tried hard enough.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you guys are a little bit busy. So
trying to be a little bit busy.
No, that's awesome. How do you see Fall from Heaven evolving in the next few years within the Australian and global metal scenes?
In terms of the Australian scene, what I want to do is I want to do more all ages shows and all ages tours and kind of bring that kind of the youth around and kind of through metal and kind of show them what it can be at some points. And in terms of the global scene, really want to get out there to Southeast Asia. Yeah. I think that'll be kind of in the next few years. Definitely want to try and play shows there.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, whatever comes our way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm Blake from Fall from Heaven, and you're listening to Hot and Heavy.